All right, let's get into one of the most followed and, frankly, heartbreaking cases in recent memory, the story of Gabby Petito. It all started as this picture-perfect van life adventure that played out on social media, but it quickly spiraled into a desperate nationwide search, a shocking confession, and a family's ongoing battle for accountability that is still very much alive today. 4 words. These 4 words, right here, were pulled from the pages of a soaked notebook found in a Florida swamp. This is the chilling confession at the very heart of this story, written by Brian Laundrie, Gabby's fiancé. But to really understand how we got to this point, we've got to rewind and go back to the beginning. So, picture this. It's the summer of 2021. Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie pack up their lives into a converted Ford Transit van and set off from New York. The plan? A 4-month epic cross-country trip. And of course, they were documenting the whole thing online for everyone to see. And this is where the story splits into 2 very different realities. On one side, you have their social media, this perfect, idealized image of a happy couple living the dream. But then, on the other side, you have a 911 call from a concerned witness in Moab, Utah, who painted a completely different and much, much darker picture. That 911 call led to a police stop, and the body cam footage from that encounter, it's just really tough to watch. You see a deeply distraught, sobbing Gabby Petito. But here's the thing. Despite the obvious tension and despite the witness saying they saw him hit her, the officers on the scene somehow decided that Gabby was the aggressor. So what did they do? They just separated them for the night. No arrest. And that decision would become this huge, critical point of failure that many believe cost Gabby her life. So that police stop in Moab was a major red flag, but their trip went on. In the weeks that followed, though, that van life dream would completely and totally unravel, leading to a truly tragic end. And if you look at this timeline, you can see just how fast things went wrong. After a final FaceTime call in late August, silence. Then on September 1st, Brian Laundrie just shows up at his parents' house in Florida, but he's in the van and he's all alone. 10 days later, her mom reports her missing. And just 8 days after that, the search comes to the most heartbreaking end imaginable. So while Gabby's family was desperately searching for answers, Brian Laundrie, who was by now a person of interest, just disappeared. This kicked off a massive manhunt in Florida's Carlton Reserve, and we're talking about a sprawling 24,000-acre wilderness. It's basically a swamp filled with alligators and snakes. After weeks of searching through that brutal terrain, the manhunt was over. The FBI confirmed that human remains found in the reserve were, in fact, Brian Laundrie's. He died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The search for the killer was officially done, but the search for the whole story, well, that was really just getting started. And this is the part that changes everything. Found near his remains was a dry bag containing his notebook. It was water damaged, but the FBI managed to recover what he'd written inside. And what they found was a confession, a twisted, self-serving explanation for what he did to Gabby. I mean, can you believe this? In his final words, he finally admits to killing Gabby, but he has the nerve to frame it as a mercy killing. It was his last desperate attempt to control the narrative, even from beyond the grave. So here's the story he spun in that notebook. He claimed they were trying to cross a stream when Gabby fell and got badly injured. He wrote that she was in extreme pain, she was freezing cold, and that he ended her life to take her pain away. Now let's be absolutely crystal clear. There is zero evidence to support any of this. This is his version of events and his alone. And here is the fact that blows his entire story out of the water. The official coroner's report was clear. It was undeniable. Gabby Petito died by strangulation. The medical evidence tells a story of pure violence, not mercy. Okay, so with Brian Laundrie dead, the criminal case was officially closed. You can't prosecute a dead man, right? But for Gabby's family, the fight for some kind of justice, for some accountability, was far from over. So they took their fight to the civil courts. The Petito family launched 2 major legal battles against the Laundries. First, a straightforward wrongful death lawsuit against Brian Laundrie's estate. And second, a much more emotionally charged lawsuit directly against his parents, Christopher and Roberta Laundrie. So the wrongful death suit against his estate, that settled for $3 million. And all of it went to the Gabby Petito Foundation. But the lawsuit against his parents was different. The allegation was that they knew Brian had murdered Gabby, and they intentionally stayed silent while Gabby's family was going through hell searching for their daughter. That case also recently settled, just this year, but the terms are confidential. But it wasn't just the Laundrie family and their sights. Gabby's parents also set out to hold another group accountable, the Moab City Police Department, for how they handled that traffic stop back on August 12th. They filed a massive $50 million lawsuit, and their argument was simple and absolutely heartbreaking: that the officers failed to properly investigate what was clearly a domestic violence situation, and that their negligence directly led to Gabby's death. They believe if the police had just done their jobs correctly, their daughter would still be alive. Now, the police department had a pretty powerful legal shield to hide behind. It's this concept called governmental immunity. And what it means, basically, is that government agencies are often protected from being sued, even if they make mistakes while on the job. And at first, that defense worked. A Utah judge looked at the case and threw it out, ruling that the police were protected by this exact immunity law. But the Petito family did not back down, not for a second. They appealed that decision, and now their fight has gone all the way to the Utah Supreme Court. They are challenging the very constitutionality of the state's immunity law, arguing it's just plain wrong that it stops citizens from holding the government accountable. So, while Brian Laundrie's confession may have closed the criminal investigation file, the Petito family's relentless pursuit of justice just keeps raising these profound questions. It really forces all of us to ask, in the face of a loss this big, what does accountability really look like? And when, if ever, is justice truly served?